Dan, if I'd have had one less Mai Tai that night, I'd have put the condom on right, and none of this would be here. So, here's to this episode's drink. Here's to Mai Tais.
None of this would be here. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, because like, well, in the movie, he's saying if he'd have done it right, his daughters wouldn't be here, but all y'all my sons. So
Oh my god. First of all, I'm much older than you.
I'm trying to tell him. Let me do the intro. We're doing Palm Springs. Dan, start the show.
All right, everyone, come on in, sit down, and grab a drink, preferably a Mai Tai, while we talk at you about Palm Springs. Written by Andy Sierra, directed by Max Barbacow, Palm Springs released July 10th of 2020 after having its streaming rights bought for a record-breaking $17.5 million by Neon and Hulu after its Sundance Film Festival premiere. The movie that Matt refers to as the last truly great rom-com stars Andy
Fucking
Samberg
right.
as Niles, who is his girlfriend Misty's plus one at her best friend's wedding in Palm Springs, forever. Doomed to relive the day repeatedly for all eternity alone, he accidentally leads Sarah, the sister of the bride, played by the excellent Kristen Milioti, into the same fate. Together they navigate their friendship and romance and crippling nihilism until they are sick enough of each other, their fate, and Roy the Hunter to try and find an escape. So this one came out in the summer of 2020. I think it debuted directly to Hulu. What do you remember thinking about it when you watched it the first time?
I remember thinking that, damn, I wish I could go watch this movie anywhere else at all other than my house.
That was that was knee deep in the pandemic, right? That was when we were still
Oh yeah. I think
locking
lockdown
down.
started March, and so we'd been completely home for 4 months. It's also, I don't know if you know this, the first new movie that you and I had ever talked about since meeting each other.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because that was that you were still pretending to be like a good employee until right up until this movie like came out. And then you
Well,
screwed
that's
me. You screwed me on that one thing, and then once we realized, oh, this guy's he's funny and cool, and then we had shit to talk about. So that's awesome.
yeah. Well, until that point, not like everything was production was just suspended on everything. Nobody was releasing anything. I didn't like there were the NBA suspended the season. I didn't have anything to talk about,
Yeah.
and so I
Yeah.
was just like sitting at my desk, like work, 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 work,
Yeah.
work.
Automaton does good job at typing.
And then this movie came out, and I was like, you know what movie's sick? Palm, Palm Springs.
It is. Every time loop movie is fucking sick, but this one is definitely I'm not gonna be hot take Dan and be like this is the best time loop movie, but man, it's up there. It's pretty fucking good.
Your intro said that I said that this is the last true great rom-com,
Yeah,
and that's 1,000% true.
that's absolutely true. I can't think of a better rom com that's come out since. I can't think of a better rom com that's come out in the 10 years prior. Before that, it was what? A Knight's Tale is really good. 10 Things I Hate About You. Those are excellent.
Those are different. But I mean, some people would say like some of the Netflix stuff that has come out, I don't think it's as good as
Boo.
this. And then just a super quick shout out, a year before this movie came out, the movie Long Shot came out. Do you remember Long Shot?
Seth Rogen, right?
Seth
And
Rogen,
Charlize
Charlize
Theron.
Theron. I
Yeah,
think
that's a good
that
one.
was pretty good. And then I
Yeah,
remember at that time thinking, man, you know what they don't make a lot anymore is like
rom coms.
rom-coms, like classic rom-coms. And then this movie comes out, and it's not quite a classic rom-com because it's a time loop movie, which at the time was pretty popular. Like they were doing, like Russian Doll was in production,
Russian Doll.
Happy Death Day, which was like a weird, like should have been a Netflix release movie that came out about the college student who
Yeah, I never
relived
saw that one,
her
but
death over and over.
yeah.
It's fine. And so then this movie came out. I guess it was like groupthink at the time. Makes sense
Edge
to
of
me.
Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow, I think, was a little before this, but
That's a little
yeah, and
older,
it's
right?
in that same like 5 year span or so.
Edge of Tomorrow is another one that's like a really good time loop movie, but it was in marketing hell for a long time, and they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with it. And I know that there was they changed the name of it, right, to Live, Die, Repeat, because nobody liked the name Edge of Tomorrow. I love that movie, and you
Edge
love
of
Tom
Tomorrow, the
Cruise.
title sucks.
Yeah,
It's awful.
yeah, it's apt.
I've never seen that movie.
What? You love Tom
Yeah, no,
Cruise.
no. So I don't love Tom Cruise.
You love Tom. You put him on the Short King Mount Rushmore.
I did, but that was because of
Oh, a diversity pick.
I believe in diversity, and I needed a white guy.
Oh, so you don't think either of the Top Gun movies are excellent top tier movies?
You don't want to hear my Top Gun takes. There's a reason there's no Top Gun episode, but
He loves Top Gun, everyone. He doesn't love it for the reasons that you probably would think he loves it, but he loves it deeply the way that Tom Cruise loves Val Kilmer.
I admire Tom Cruise's ability to be a movie star. I don't love Tom Cruise.
What is this the same? Is this the same opinion that you have about? Damn it! Now that I've said this and started up, I'm gapping on his name. Twisters. What's that guy's name? Uh, the
Oh,
true movie star. You said he's a real old fashioned movie
the
star.
Twisters, the new Twisters.
Yeah,
Glenn Powell?
Glenn Powell.
Yeah, Glenn Powell at the time that Twisters came out felt like he was on trajectory to be like a throwback, like I can open a movie and people will go watch it because I'm in it kind of movie star. And then he made like basically Mrs. Doubtfire for football series for Hulu, and then I don't know
I
what
never
else
saw
he's
that.
doing.
Yeah, he's doing a
Yeah,
remake of The Running Man. That's going to be a more faithful adaptation of the book, so I'm excited for that. But I got to be the
see,
only person in the world
see,
excited
that's not
for
what
it.
I thought. Yeah. That's not what I thought he was going to do. But Tom Cruise didn't have those missteps. He was like, I'm going to make blockbuster banger after
Banger,
blockbuster
banger,
banger after
banger.
blockbuster banger. And and people were like, you don't even have to know the plot or have liked the trailer. You're just like, oh, the new Tom Cruise movie is coming out. You remember the 80s. But he he can open a movie, which is not the case anymore for anybody outside of like Chalamet, basically right now.
I finished the 80s when I was 4 years old, so no, I do not
I
remember
don't.
the 80s.
You're derailing us from our conversation about Palm Springs.
Oh, sorry. uh, First impressions. You were saying that you thought it was something that you wished you could watch anywhere else other than home. Yeah, I remember. I do
Yeah.
remember us discussing it, and I remember us talking about it for a long time. Because that movie's one of
Oh, we
those movies
have.
that, yeah, but it's one of those movies that it's even watching it the rewatch this time, I'm still picking up stuff that I missed the first time around, and it's excellent. It's very very good, and because it's a beloved genre, you almost don't expect it to be as inventive or like as interesting as it is because it's very well trodden territory, and it's easy to do poorly. It's easy to do a bad job, but they did a great job. You know,
Yeah. This movie, I think its greatest superpower though is being a good hang
yeah,
the entire time. And to me, that's why we talked about it so much. Because like you like talking about it because you like being there. You like being around it and around the characters and just kind of feeling the vibe of the movie. And it executes that phenomenally.
absolutely, yeah. And honestly, I mean, a big part of that is probably the chemistry of Andy Samberg and Kristen Milioti.
Yeah.
They're beautiful together. They're both like
Yeah.
funny. They're both very attractive in kind of like very approachable, kind of non-threatening type ways. Like they're very like Chris.
Did you just call them
Chris.
sixes? You just call them New
No,
York
dude, they're
sixes?
they're like eights. They're solid eights. But they just seem like someone who's like you could talk to them, and they also seem very down to earth. I watched an interview that Andy Samberg did with a guy who was doing like a podcast or something, and it was tough. It was a tough watch. Andy Samberg being super polite, super friendly, trying very hard to be interested and be present, but you could tell that the interviewer was very nervous and was kind of struggling to like create a rapport and create conversation. And it did make me very happy to see Andy being so like likable anyway. He's like, "Hey, I'll do
Yeah.
it for both of us." Like I can pull this off. Don't sweat it.
I also think a part of my memory of this movie was kind of how relieved I was to have a piece of like art that was a good hang. and so consumable about living in the same day over and
Yeah,
over
over and
again.
over. Yeah.
Because that's what I was doing, and that's what you were doing, and that's what everybody with sense was doing. Like all we could do was go to work because we had to be at work. And
Sit
then
6 feet away
again,
from each other with our masks on and pray that that was enough, you know?
and then again and again and again and again, right? And
Right.
and before I got to where you were to talk about it, like I had lost my job before that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was, I was hired there like maybe a month before this movie came out. And so for 3 or 4 months, I was living like the worst version of this movie over and over again. You know what I mean? Without the pool and the beers,
Right.
because unemployed people shouldn't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcohol's for winners. Um,
Slippery slope there.
So I was really relieved to have a bit of like to have a movie that kind of felt so appropriate for
Yeah.
what I was going through at the time.
Very relatable, very and honestly that's also it's interesting because I think that's also one of the things that makes this movie such a good hang and so fun to watch is it is very dark subject matter. If you really stop to think about it and kind of think about what's happening there,
Hmm.
a buddy of mine was taking a psych class at UTSA before I was going to college when I was being an idiot. And he needed to give me a ride somewhere after class. So he was like, they don't care. Just sit in. It's a big room. They're not going to notice you're there. Just sit down. Maybe you'll learn something, right? And he was being a dick, but I did want to sit in so that I could be like, wow, college, a real university. And one of the things they talked about in the class was what photographic memories are actually like and how debilitating they can be for people because the human brain is finite. It can't just store information indefinitely. It does need a certain amount of elasticity to like retain info. If you were alive, even if you're reliving the same day and you're keeping those memories, that shit adds up quick. And that's why people that are like stranded on their own who are like taking in a lot of information every day and they're kind of like isolated from like interacting with people, they kind of go nuts because you're basically all you're doing is absorbing info and you're not really using it in any constructive way, and it's kind of like overriding your ability to like interact with people, and so you start to become really weird. And that's like to think that you might get stuck in living the same day over and over again. Nobody else knows that it's happening, no one else is experiencing it, but you're experiencing years, what amounts to decades of the same day. That's like drive you crazy stuff. But
Yeah.
if you're Andy Samberg, it's just hilarious and fun. And really cool. And yeah, I think the reality of the situation would be much scarier than that. And so it's kind of, I think that's the other thing that's fun about it is that, it doesn't get really, it scratches the surface of scary. There are those moments, especially when Roy shows up, where you're like, oh, this gets, there's some dark shadows here.
Yeah. 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 Well, then we have no choice but to live. So your best bet is to find out how to suffer existence.
Yeah.
Um, so let's suffer existence by getting into what works. What's your favorite part of this movie? Like, what do you think stands out the most to you? What works?
I love when they're doing the dance. They're learning when they're doing the montage of them like learning to do the dance together, and they're just kind of showing them like chilling and existing. And then they go to the bar, and they actually do the dance. And then really all those scenes where they're falling in love
Hmm.
like is building to it, but then the scene where she brings him to the bar and it's his happy millionth birthday dipshit. I
Hmm.
love it. I love that scene. I love the whole part of it. I love uh man, Miss Milioti, she's a treasure. She's so good.
She's crazy good in this movie. I also really like her in Wolf of Wall Street
Oh
as
yes, yeah.
Leo's first wife, specifically
Yes.
the scene where she circles the stockbroker job. And it's not anything she says. He just like looks over at her and is like, because he just finished telling her nobody's hiring stockbrokers right now. Like I gotta start somewhere and work my way up.
Right.
She gets it immediately, circles with a red pen, the stockbroker job. And he looks back at her and she does this like little like dance with her head, like I told you I got it. And she's so good in that movie. She's so charming in that movie. And it's the same exact thing here. I've not seen her in The Penguin, but those two pieces of movies I have seen her in, she's very, very good. She's very, very charming and has like an approachability
Yeah.
to her that is like perfect. I think she offsets Andy Samberg's like face contorting goofiness that he
Zaniness,
can have
yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah.
which is which can be off putting, but like next to her, you can feel annoyed with her at him when he
Yes.
gets like that. And I
She
think
is
that's perfect.
she is perfect at tempering his bullshit because she's
Mhm.
so good at like you said reacting to it that it makes it very relatable that if there's no one there to think what the person is doing is annoying on the screen, then it kind of is like more annoying for you that like in the real world nobody would just sit here and listen to this dipshit make joke after joke after joke, you know?
Right.
So it is nice that she does that. She makes me want to watch the Penguin. I haven't watched it yet because I feel pretty strongly that I need to keep it in my back pocket for a time where I don't have a show to watch and I have something good I could go to.
Yeah.
But I know she got a lot of accolades, right, for her performance
Yeah.
in that. So it's got to be good.
Yeah. I love her delivery, and some of this is just the writing of
Yeah,
the movie. Because everybody has these quick throwaway lines almost, and they're all reactionary. So like an example of that is like when she's at the bar in the beginning of the movie and she's asking for wine. She's like, "Come on, like don't short me,"
yeah,
basically. And the bartender's like, "It's not good wine." And there's a bunch of like reactionary one-liner lines like that,
right.
right? Like like when the guy's asking her to dance, she's like,
Yeah.
"What makes you think that I would say yes now?" He's like, "Well, you've had more to drink." And she's like, "You can't say that to me, man." Like he, because there's three of them, right? It's that one. It's "You can't say that to me, man." And then when Roy and Niles meet each other for the first time, and he gives him some Confucius line, Andy Samberg very quickly interrupts him, like, "No, he didn't." And those are all sort of the same joke, right? By the
Yeah,
same writer. But I think she delivers hers the best.
yeah,
You know, like that's a perfect example of what she's really good at in this movie.
right.
Or well, it's pretty. She's got range, right? Because she does that, but then there's a couple times in the movie where she's got to dial it up comedically and then dramatically, and she does all of them convincingly, right?
Yeah,
To me, she's the MVP of the movie. She's got to do all the heavy lifting acting wise because it's not going to be Sandberg, right?
right.
He's there to do what he does, and she can dial it up and have an accent from origins unknown and a hook hand,
Yeah.
right? And make a crazy accent. She can do these throwaway one-liners. She can hilariously react to him getting shot with an arrow, like the screeching "what the fuck"
Right.
kind of reaction, you know. And then she can also have like the complete destruction of guilt on her face. You know what I
Oh
mean? While
yeah.
she's trying to navigate through what she's navigating through in her life. And I think she's what makes this whole thing go. Like she's the engine of this movie. And to me, that's my favorite part is like her entire performance in this movie, I think is
Oh,
needed and
that's
executed
cheating.
perfectly well.
You can't pick the whole movie.
I didn't. I picked her performance specifically.
She is excellent, and honestly, yeah, the every scene that she's in, she's doing an excellent job, and she's like working every scene she's in. She's like in it. She's working it. There's no wasted time with her on the screen. She's doing a great job, and yeah, and she is really funny. On top of being, like
Yeah.
doing the really tough stuff, the conversations, the heart to hearts. The camping scene is really good that she has with him, where they're kind of like
Mhm.
she's starting to realize that maybe this guy's worth like paying attention to a little bit. Maybe it's deeper than
Yeah.
it needs to be. And I think Andy Samberg he does a good job of being afraid of the reality of the situation. I think he does a good
Yeah.
job. I think the slapstick stuff is easy for him, right? Because that's where he lives, obviously.
Yep.
but I do think that it does take a certain amount of acting chops to be able to be, serious about where he's at and what's happening. It's good. He does look nervous really well when he thinks he smells Roy at the beginning of the movie, and he's kind of sniffing the air, looking at the rustling bushes and stuff. You're like, what the hell? Especially the first time you watch it and you don't expect it, right? It's like, what is he? Yeah, what is he being so weird about? What's he being so cagey about? And then you're also like, what the fuck? When he immediately gets shot. Uh,
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's good.
he does good. And then J.K. Simmons, we just know he's got the talent. He's going to do a great job with whatever
Yeah,
they give him. He's going to kill it because that's kind of where that's his home. He's got that intensity.
yeah,
And this is right after
and
Whiplash, right?
yeah. So J.K. Simmons, who plays Roy, he does kind of what Kristen Milioti does, and
Yeah,
that is do all the acting stuff in scenes with Andy Samberg, right?
yeah,
And, and so he has a similar job in this movie, and I think he does it really well too. He's just not in as much of it, but he's
yeah,
really good. I think at the well, he's playing sort of straight man gone wild, right?
yeah.
In some of the scenes, which is funny because he's usually not that, right? Like
No,
he's the
yeah,
guy you play off of, and they make him really dial it up in the scene where he's like having the best time with Niles at the wedding, which I think is a really funny. Just the idea of Roy to me is very funny.
very funny.
Like this dude you met and clicked with immediately and had the best fucking time of your life
Yeah,
that you don't actually know that well. And does he suck also? Like, do
yeah,
do I know this guy that well? But you having the time of your life, so it doesn't matter. Like, this is so perfect. Like, it doesn't end up in a time loop situation,
right,
but maybe you invite him to your bachelor party and it goes bad, right?
right.
Like,
Because
in
you
real
didn't
life,
realize he partied like that all the time.
that's the version of this guy in real life, and I think
uh,
that's so perfect. But he's really good in this. But you said something earlier about like the way they set it up the first time you watched it, right? Like, why is he being so cagey
right.
before Roy gets there, right? I think this movie as a first time watch is elite. It's perfect as
Oh,
a first time watch.
yeah.
And as you watch it, like you mentioned earlier, like it gets better and you find more stuff. But I think they do such a good job. There's a lot you can do wrong with a movie like this, right?
Right.
Like you can make the time loop too large of a character in the movie.
Yeah.
You can introduce it in a way that's kind of hacked, right? You can
Yeah.
like the rom-com part of it can be so unassociated with the time loop that it doesn't work,
Yeah, it feels
right?
out of place. Yeah. Like yeah. The time traveler's
And-
wife, right?
we don't talk about the time traveler's life on this podcast because we know we hate it and that's all.
We can talk about it to make fun of it.
But I think this movie handles all that so perfectly and gets its punches in while it's doing it, and it works out great on the first watch. Like all the twists and turns, like Roy showing up the very first
Right.
time when you don't know he's going to show up, and also that scene goes for a really long time. The first time you're following Niles throughout his day,
Right.
that's like that's like 15 minutes of the
Yeah,
movie.
15 minutes or so. It does go a full day before you get a look at what his daily repeat is like kind of in total, and they do a good
Hmm.
job of like establishing who Niles is, and then yeah, and then after you've already spent, a good whatever 15 20 minutes being at this pretty boring but otherwise pretty normal wedding experience that a lot of us have been dragged along to a wedding that we didn't necessarily want to go to, and see that he's kind of doing his own thing there, and he's kind of creating a weird experience, and you're getting a little bit more and more like, oh, there is something different going on here, right? I think this movie, like you said, probably works best if you didn't know it was a time loop movie going into it, because they do a good job of
Yeah,
breadcrumbing you in a really
yeah.
artful manner, for sure.
They didn't do a lot of promotion for this movie, obviously, because it's not like they had to open it
Right.
anywhere. But what promotion they did do was very straight to the point. like this is a time loop movie. I do remember knowing that going in,
Right.
but that's all I knew about it was like, oh, the Andy Samberg time loop movie. I didn't have anything to watch at the time, so I was gonna watch it either way. But watching the first 15 minutes of it or so, like you kind of just you're just having a good, you're hanging with these characters, and and it's also really funny. I know it's like a run of the mill wedding, but all the beats of a bad run of the mill wedding, they
Right.
get perfectly. Like you're this girl's boyfriend, like that dude who's coming along as a plus one,
Yeah,
and
and
also
everyone
she's
keeps calling
such
you hit the boyfriend.
Missy's boyfriend, and like her maid of honor speech,
Yeah.
which is just awful, reading definitions and saying
Yeah.
guys over and over again.
I did that exact. I had that exact experience. By the way, at the only time that I've been a best man at a wedding, my best friend when he got married the first time, it was like I put a lot of effort into writing a speech because it was a big deal, right? Worked on it for like weeks, and then the maid of honor reads her speech, and it's like a four printed Microsoft Word pages of stuff, and that first page was definitions. And as soon as she's like, Webster's dictionary define. As soon as I heard Webster, I
Oh
was like,
God.
"Don't do this to me, please! Don't do this to me." It's so much more pressure on you when you have to follow somebody like that because
Disagree.
you think
Disagree.
You could just phone it in after that because she already ruined
No, I
it.
think no matter what you do, it seems like the best thing ever. That
I
happened to me. I've done it once. That happened to me.
I killed it. I will say that I did a great job, but it was probably way easier because she did such a terrible job. But in the moment, I did feel tremendous anxiety that I was like, "Great, she's gonna make the crowd awful." It's like following a bad comedy act, is what I was thinking of it
Yeah,
like.
that's perfect. Everyone's so relieved that you came up there.
Everybody, hey, uh, Banya only killed after Seinfeld went on first with his Ovaltine stuff, right?
I feel extreme relief if I were you. I don't understand why you're stressed
she
out about
felt
that.
she felt extreme relief when he showed up and crushed it with the off the cuff, seemingly off the cuff speech that he just swoops in, saves her from the speech, delivers an awesome couple of lines there, and that was one of the funnier but also kind of creepier, darker moments. Also, when he divulges that, "Oh please, we've slept together thousands of times."
Yeah,
When they're sitting on the curb, he's like, "All I have to do
yeah.
is save you from that stupid speech, and it's all downhill from there." And you see it in her face. She's like, like you can see that she kind of had that thought that maybe there was something about her that was kind of different, that he couldn't get past her defenses, and turns out no, it was just like everybody else. He was banging everybody there. The dad, him saying he banged the dad, was really, really funny. Do you think he actually banged the dad and then just lied about it because it was too awkward?
No, no, I don't think he did. I think, I think that would, I think that would be about as successful as trying to get with the bride. Like I don't,
Yeah.
there's just no path there.
Yeah, not in one day, right?
Yeah,
But it
no
was
shot.
very funny that because it did feel very on brand for him to be like, "What are we doing?" That's a good laugh, man.
I did think it was funny that the guy in the pool, who he's like, today,
Yeah.
tomorrow, yesterday, it's all the same. And that guy has so much like, who knows what can happen,
Hey, anything
Like
can
that
happen. No, not today, dude.
was, and you don't even think anything of that line in the beginning, but like what he's
No.
saying is like, you're not gonna fuck me today, guy. That's funny. Like the more times you watch it, it
Funny.
gets funnier. That part.
Very funny.
I think that first 15 minutes it's a perfect setup, and then you meet Roy, and that's sort of the introduction to the darker side of what you're about to go through in this movie, because
Right.
it's not like a run of the mill pure classic rom com either, right?
Nope.
It's not like a guy meeting the girl at the airport or holding up a boombox or anything. Like there's some very dark themes to this movie and lines in this movie, and you don't get any of that until Roy's introduced, right? And that scene where he gets shot with the bow and arrow, and then they both got to crawl into into the cave is like introducing both of those things. Like, okay, here's the fun tree rom-com part, and now we're about to get into that. One, it's a time loop, and two, we're gonna talk about nihilism and suicide like a lot in this movie, and death, and then it's just going from there.
And you know what? J.K. Simmons is probably perfect for this, right? Because he can be very intimidating, but he also can be very dad, very like normal, guy next door. He's got that. He's got that range that kind of lets him be really scary and really intense, but also just chill. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, well,
that's
we've seen him in farmers insurance commercials for a long time,
right.
so we trust him.
And that scene, oh, where he jumps in the pool and he's like, "What's that smell?" And he's like, and you see the flames in his eyes. I was like, "Holy shit, man!" And that's it's hard to be funny. It's hard to make a good movie, right? It's got to be really difficult to like pivot on an idea and then execute that idea really well and then nail the details of how like intense and dark and scary a situation can be, in addition to being funny and witty and charming, when it calls for it. It's like you said, the writing in this movie is incredible, right? Like the vision,
Yeah.
the vision of the movie is really, really well executed. And I do think that, yeah, Roy does an excellent job of playing this movie's version of the straight man, which is basically like what you would really be like if you woke up and you were reliving the same day over. You would be fucking pissed, especially if you had two small children that you were looking forward to growing up, seeing them, mature, knowing you're being robbed of that. It would take you to some fucking weird, dark places, especially because obviously that's not, the version of him that went and partied and had a great fucking time. That's like a sliver of his personality, like that's not necessarily the guy he wants to be every day for the rest of forever.
That's what he got to do that day.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
letting loose that day.
Yeah.
Did not
Yeah.
want to like relive that moment for the rest of his life. And I think they did a good job of also kind of selling that Andy Samberg kind of realized that at the very last moment before he sent him in there, like, wait, I forgot what we're doing. Like, don't do this,
Yeah. Yeah. I did have the thought that you would have that opinion about Roy.
What?
That's like the realistic
Yeah.
way to be trapped in there. That's really funny. I had the same thought about Sarah's character
Oh.
when they show my notes is it's a very realistic freak out on Sarah for the first day. Like for
Yeah.
me, that is exactly right.
What the
Like
fuck did you
waking
do?
up, trying to make sure it's real, probably ruining stuff, and then being like, "What's going on?" Go confront the person about it. Refuse to accept it. Try and go home, stay awake as long as you can. Like there's no way. Like no, I'm gonna. It's fine. I'm gonna stay awake. I'm
Yeah.
gonna beat it.
Refusal
Like
to accept it.
I think that part is so perfect. That to me is how a person would react to it. I guess you would just murder the person responsible over and
No,
over again.
and okay, let me be clear. I'm talking. We don't know what Roy was like that first morning. I
Yeah.
assume all three of them did basically the 7 stages of grief, like
Yeah.
right through those probably the first week, right? And he's in Irvine. So my first
Hmm.
instinct is not going to be to drive to Palm Springs, California and murder the guy who got me in this situation. It is probably though like my fourth or fifth instinct after I've tried to bargain my way out of the situation or figure out what the loopholes are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do wonder. This movie especially did make me wonder, which is, it's obvious, right? Just based on I think some of the direction of some of the conversations we've had is that sometimes I do have a tendency to lean on violence, right? Like in terms of
Hmm.
things being interesting, but I do think that this movie made me think about how I would act in a situation where there's no consequences. And I do think very deeply that while my impulse would be to exact vengeance or to like inflict wrath, Andy Samberg's where he landed on it is probably more akin to where I would land on it too, which is that like I'm gonna have to remember all this shit that I did. So while everything's resetting for everybody else, I can't live. I'm not gonna be able to live with myself if I do some heinous shit, even if that person gets reset or whatever. Like I'm just not. I know myself well enough to know that I couldn't deal with that. And that's to say nothing of one of those multiverse theories is the many worlds theory, which could be that, the day is resetting for you, but it may be that there is a version of you that is stuck in that day with all the decisions that you've made, kind of just moving on, paying for all the things that you've done. You know what I mean? So it's not exactly no consequences if there's a possibility that there is some version of you that you left behind that's really going to catch a shitstorm in Equatorial Guinea on a 24-hour meth bender. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot there's too many unknowns to really feel like there's no consequences, I guess is my point.
I had that thought while I was watching it about like, okay, but if
that world probably kept going,
like, especially when Sarah gets there, because this movie also does a pretty unique thing for time loop stuff, which is it shifts perspectives, and you follow her for a while, right? And so there are real like emotional stakes, and you kind of get to see more than just one perspective of the time loop, right? So when I had that thought is when she falls out of the sunroof.
Yes, and she wakes up.
He kind of laughs. Right? Yeah. Which is a funny scene, right? But to me, I was like, okay, she woke up and he's still driving.
Yeah.
So like when she gets up and goes to his room, is she talking to the version of him that was driving? Does the next day?
Yeah, it's
at a different time. Is it staggered? Like,
it's got to be staggered.
Well, okay.
Because they make it a point to have him say at one point, she's like, if I go back to that cave, does the day reset? And he says, for you. He doesn't say for us, right? So, like, she's taking herself into the cave and she's disappearing from today. But he's still got to probably live through the rest of that day, which means that version of him that's laughing when she fell out of the window, right? He probably, I don't know that he necessarily went and scraped her off the pavement, but he probably, like, unless he just, crashed into the next truck he saw or whatever, like he probably did something to have to end the day fairly quickly after that. Because otherwise he's going to have to go back and tell her parents that day, oh, hey, she fell out of the sunroof while we were driving on the highway. My bad, So that was the first time I thought, like, what you were saying. Like, I think this might just be a bunch of paths. Yeah, just kind of cascading
each time. And I wonder if he had a sense of that too, and that's why he ended up where he ended up. But probably not, because he let her do a lot of shit.
Yeah.
when she realized what was going on.
I think for them, the day resets or whatever, they retain their memories, whatever. I do think that maybe there's a version, like how when J.K. Simmons came back after they had already left the time loop and said, hey, I got your girlfriend's phone message last night. That's pretty crazy if it works. And he's like, do I know you? Like, it could be that. There is that version of the day that keeps going with a version of them that doesn't recall all the shit they did. Or maybe they do recall and they're like, I don't know why the hell I did that. Or whatever. It's just a version of them where they can account for what they did right up until they went to sleep. And then now that the like normal version of you wakes up and is like fucked because you robbed a bank or you stole a fighter jet or whatever. But it's not, I think it's not fleshed out on purpose, right? Because then it does leave it open to some interpretation of put in there whatever you want,
Yeah. God damn it. I didn't want to get into like the Reddit science version of this conversation about the
movie. They did their homework. I mean, it seems like they. I watched at least one clip of a video where the writer said that he did just enough homework so that it didn't sound ridiculous. It didn't sound stupid, and it made like at least if you knew something about physics, it made sense and it kind of lined up with the reality of the situation as much as it could. Anyway, I just watched Donnie Darko also, which is not a time loop movie, but it is a time travel movie, right? And they do a really bad job of talking about like the science and the physics of it. And I think it's because, like you said, the time travel is a character in that movie that they lean too heavily on for like the storytelling, for it to be,
Hmm.
it kind of veers away from being interesting. And I'm probably going to get roasted on incel Twitter, but I think Donnie Darko
They don't,
does, huh?
they don't know we're here.
Oh,
They don't know we're here.
yeah,
Go
nowhere on their radar. uh, but yeah, I think that's what Donnie Darko doesn't do very well. Is it doesn't, it leans too heavy on the crutch of the science without actually delivering anything realistic. Like Palm Springs does a good job of at least caring enough about it to do a serviceable job in terms of what
Mhm.
the science is. And even the physicist that they consulted with to do the science does have a cameo in the movie, which I thought was really, for one thing, nice to kind of give credit where it's due, right? Like this guy now has a acting credit to his name where he plays an actual scientist because he is a scientist. It's kind of
Mhm.
cool. Can we talk about how interesting it is that Kristen's character literally is in there for a fraction of the time that Niles is, but is like, I'm gonna like learn science and become a physicist so that I can save us. Like, you could do anything with the time that you have allotted to you. And this guy and Niles is basically just like chilling in the pool, getting fucked up every day and having a great time. And
Yeah.
just kind of like, hey, it is what it is. Even Roy, who has like real stakes to like really pull him out of the situation, never once thought, I have immortality. Immortality me. God damn it! I have immortality at my
Yo,
disposal.
Mai Tais are getting them. The Mai Tais are getting them.
Immortality at my disposal, but I'm not going to learn anything about the situation. And maybe that's the difference between someone who has like a more logically based mind versus someone who's more accepting of magical thinking. The magical thinking
Sure.
person is like, I don't know why it happened. It's magic. I can't figure it out. No one can
I
know.
don't know that. I don't know that that's the case. So to somebody, to a certain personality type, and I got some of this in me too, right?
Brag.
There's a certain level of, it's not, listen to what I'm saying. There's a there's a certain level of math and science and technical aspects of stuff that might as well be magic.
Oh.
Like
Not if you have not
it's
if you have infinite time.
it's so far out of what I understand that sure, dude, it's magic. You know what I mean? Like I get what you're saying, but also I think there's a large portion of the world, which by the way, I don't think either of them is like, to me, both are perfectly reasonable ways to approach a time loop. But I think there, but I think there's a large portion of the world who would just like, how far off am I from understanding quantum physics?
How many?
A million?
Yeah. Yeah, but
Because
just
if
do
it's a
it.
million years, I'm not gonna do it. I'll put it this way. I'll put it this way because I did have this thought. Is like if you understand that you're trapped in this day forever, it's sort of like being on like Christmas break at school, right?
Forever.
And if you had like a teacher who sucks, you probably got like a packet of homework sent home with you,
Yeah.
right? Which I have had on several occasions.
You're
What
gonna dedicate
happened
no
on
time to homework.
so what happened on those times that I had a packet given to me is that I was like, you know what's awesome is that I don't have school. I don't have any responsibilities and I'm waking up and I'm doing the same shit over and over again. It's a blast, it's a good time, right? I'm not doing that homework because I have infinite time. Because when you're 7, 2 weeks is infinite time,
Yeah.
right? So this is that. And in adulthood, I think it would take longer than you think to lock in
I.
and be like, I can be productive.
It seems like you don't understand what infinity means.
No, I do. It's just that I think because you mentioned a fraction of the time her being in there.
Yeah.
That's extraordinary to me, though. I think most people, and she had extraordinary circumstances
Yes.
because of the excellent reveal that she's sleeping with her sister's fiance,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
true.
she wakes up there every single day
Yeah.
with that guilt, and she's probably processed it at some point because, like you said, it's forever, right? but she also met this person who there are real consequences for,
Right.
right? And goes through what's essentially a breakup because of a massive lie that
Right.
he tells her, right?
Right.
So there are real reasons. Like she wakes up every day, she knows he's gonna go look for her. You know what I mean? And she
Yeah,
doesn't
she's
want
got
to
to
deal with
like
that.
disappear every morning as quickly as
So
possible.
she's got to deal with her pre-time loop and her post-time loop consequences all the time. She's got a fire under her ass like a Bunsen burner. And so that's why she locks in the way she locks in. I think the average person, I think me and you would it would take like way longer than you think to lock in and be like, I'm gonna learn this thing.
I absolutely I do. I don't want you to think that I'm underestimating how long it would take. I think it would probably take me like thousands of years, literally, probably like, because I wouldn't do it consistently that whole time. I would get bored of it. I would get distracted. I would try to like figure out how to program Doom on a refrigerator LCD panel. Like I would learn how to do a lot of stuff because I also would have in the back of my mind that once I figure out how to get out of this, I don't have infinite time, like, so let me take advantage of the time I have here. Let me learn how to drive let me learn how to fly an F-22 Raptor. Let me learn how to
Jesus Christ.
let me learn how to learn everything I can about piloting a nuclear submarine. Let me steal a nuclear submarine and start a nuclear war with Israel. Like I'm gonna do some crazy shit in my like no consequences timeline.
I can't believe you're doing homework in your time loop.
I'm doing lots of
This
homework.
is so crazy to me that you're
It's
like,
just,
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna acquire skills.
do you know
Fucking
how
nerd.
useful it would be if you could do it? You'd be Batman, dude. You could literally turn yourself into Batman. You could learn every martial arts there is. You could like, the only thing you
I
can't do is get
imagine Palm
bigger.
Springs has a limited martial arts scene.
You have until you fall asleep. You could travel. She drove to Austin from California. Like, you got time. You'll find somewhere. Drive there, rob a bank on the way, pay an exorbitant amount of money to get this guy to teach you a lesson. Once you get the step by steps down of where you're going to get the money from easily, most consistently, then you just keep doing that over and over again until you know it. This is child's play.
Yeah.
This is nothing. It's not
I
homework
don't
if
know.
it's interesting.
I think a binge makes a lot of sense.
I mean, a binge, yeah, I think that in her situation, especially, it's like you said, she's got purpose and motive and drive. And because she has
Hmm.
those three things, it's like she locks in. She actually locks in. I think she was every single day. She was getting the books, she was finding the contacts, she was learning she probably did spend still what, like, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, like what you would spend on a
Gotta be
college
more than that.
education. Yeah, like, because she probably had to learn the basics and then also the advanced crazy shit. So she's spending a lot of years of every day. But like I said, the human memory is also not perfect. So it's not like you're retaining everything. You know what I mean? Like it's like you or me, like you're going to retain a lot of it, but you're not going to retain everything. You know what I mean? And it's not like you
Sure,
can
but
take
like,
notes.
I have questions about that because
You can't bring nothing with you, man.
the phone message saved
He listened to it.
and wrote it down. How did he remember it?
Bro, she left him a message. He listened to the message and was like, "Hey." She probably just said like, "Hey, if you go into the cave and you take some kind of a heavy explosive with you and you set it off at exactly this time, use a timer, that'll save you." And then he probably was like, "No way," and then listened to it again and again and again and again. Like, it's, come on, it's
Yeah.
Roy. He knows what the fuck he's doing. He's been doing it a minute. You know what I mean? Hey, his
Well,
watering dog shit is such a fucking funny line, dude.
kind of weird.
It's weird, but it's beautiful. He's like,
That's
Joey's
funny.
gonna tend his dog shit, like, it's a good day.
I think, yeah, you can't save stuff, but like anything else, if I've spent the last 20 years coaching basketball, like, guess what? I fucking know how to coach
Right.
basketball, right?
Muscle memory.
And that's what she's doing. So, and she also games the system a lot.
Yeah.
She like falls asleep when she's tired. She studies again. Like she's not using full days if she doesn't have to.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. There's definitely, there's ways to like retain it really well. Especially when you know that you don't ever have to get hungry if you really don't want to. You don't have to like manage your time at all if you don't want to. You know, there's probably a lot of leeway there. You know what I did also think, and I don't know. I was just interested to kind of hear your thoughts on this. It does strike me that in the Niles versus Sarah relationship, that in relationships there is very often one person who wants to be comfortable and stay the same desperately. And there's also sometimes one person who desperately wants to grow and be better and do more and like reach their potential, or wants the other person to reach their potential or to like leave their comfort zone, try new things. And I do think that maybe there's a little symbolism there of like her wanting to do anything else. You know, like I think the main motivating factor is that she's waking up next to her sister's
Yeah.
fiance every morning, right? But I do also think that there's something to be said for personality types. So one person is willing to lay on an air mattress in the pool and drink beer all day forever, and one person can't stand the idea that they're going to be stuck in the same place, reliving the same day for the rest of their lives, and will spend 10 years of equivalent time getting an advanced physics degree, figuring out how to reverse this seemingly impossible situation because they just can't sit still. To me, it did kind of speak to the nature of relationships, kind of in the way that, sometimes you got to pull somebody along, I guess, that is really scared to leave their comfort zone and like kind of shove them out of it, or force them to go to a free concert downtown that they have no interest in going into.
Yeah, yeah. So this movie, as much as I said earlier, was like about the pandemic, right? Like
Yeah.
it's reliving the same day over and over again. It's equally about relationships, right?
Yeah.
Um, and symbolic of like a marriage specifically, right?
Yeah.
Of living what is effectively the same day over and over again with somebody who feels like they're the only other person who knows what it's like to live that day over and over and over again and deciding if you're tired of it or not, right? Like this movie is very much about marriage and commitment and what it means to go through that with somebody, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely agree that it's very much that. I don't the growth part hadn't occurred to me more than the line at the end, which this movie is like underratedly intensely a romantic movie.
Yeah.
Like
Very, very, very sweet.
the ideas of this movie, like sounds like you care about me, Niles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he goes on this tangent. And she's like, "Well, here's to pretending not to care, right?"
Yeah.
And then him, when they're about to go into the cave, like pitching the idea of them together, right? She's like, "What if you're sick of me?" And he's like, "We're already sick of each other." Like, it's a intensely crazy, successfully romantic movie,
Yeah, absolutely.
and it's so good at that.
Yeah.
But the what two people choose to do with their time and how it ends up better for both people if you're willing to kind of
Yeah,
go along with
go with
what
them.
the person who's opposite of you, because she sort of needed that too in the beginning, right?
Right.
Like there's without Niall's ability to sort of accept and relax, right?
Yeah.
His like nihilistic empathy, right?
Right.
Like nothing
Zen
matters,
Buddhism, yeah.
but let's be good, right?
Yeah.
Nothing matters because we're here forever, but let's be good to people anyway. Let's kind of let it go. Without that, she, I don't think, ever escapes the frustration phase of what's happening with her. Like she has some fun, she cuts loose, she relaxes a little bit, and then shit goes bad, and she locks in and gets out of there. But to your point, like both of them needed that element of each other to be able to move forward at all with what they were doing. And I think this movie, along with the other themes of it, at its core, is a movie about people's relationship to each other and strengths and weaknesses, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And even Roy's conversation with him in his yard really points to, it did take him spending the night in an ICU to really empathize with what he had put Niles through. But he did obviously come to a certain amount of acceptance with where he was going to be spending eternity too. And, you know, once he did stop to really appreciate what he had, he realized that he basically was going to live what was essentially a perfect day for the rest of forever, you know, and he was good with that, because he knew that he got to be there with his wife and his kids and his loved ones. And, you know, like what else he couldn't do anything else, but of all the places to get stuck in, you know, that's pretty much as good as it gets for him. And, yeah, Find Your Irvine, right, that's the kind of the like on the nose, you know, message there. But the message at its core is still like, if you're gonna have to be anywhere, be with people you love, or be with the person you love who, you know, completes you, whatever.
I also have a note about Roy and how that all worked out, and another theme of this movie, which is how to react to oppression, and how and how some people do not naturally have empathy or think about it. And when those people begin to oppress others throughout history and currently and forevermore, violence is the answer to make them understand.
Sometimes the only way that you can teach empathy is to inflict it onto someone else.
On the oppressor. The oppressor.
Yeah.
Not the oppressed. And
it's
this movie's the perfect example of that.
Yeah, you gotta hold the mirror up to them and show them this is what the fuck you're doing. Now that
because
you know what it feels like.
100% right.
She was. She absolutely
was. He's never gonna stop. He's never gonna stop.
Yeah, because why would he? You know? For him, it's just like, I'm bored. I'm gonna go paralyze Niles today. You know?
And she was in the middle of a crash out, and you know she was being terrible because Niles had finally shown some vulnerability and was trying to, like, last night, huh? Like, you know, going to bed got a little better, and she was so internally focused that she couldn't reciprocate any of that,
absolutely,
and was being
not in that mindset.
Really awful.
Yeah,
and it makes me physically uncomfortable to watch that scene. But in her crash out, she was 100% right. Like,
yes, she was.
You gotta do this. Niles learned nothing worse than slowly dying in the ICU. Niles doesn't strike me as some wise person who understood the stuff that he's saying initially when he was stuck in the time loop.
No, you know? you don't say pain is real unless you really understand what that means. And being set on fire alive in a swimming pool full of gasoline would probably teach you the meaning of pain.
Yeah. And even he learned, like, his whole mission statement of, like, what he believes in, his ethos, right, is like, pain. He says pain matters. What we do to other people matters. Being a source of terror is not fun. It's not fulfilling. Like, where the hell do you think he learned that from?
Yeah, he probably dabbled.
You know? In addition to learning it from Roy. Like, the whole time, you know?
Yeah.
So I think...
Can we also talk about how difficult must it be to build the skill of being able to smell somebody on the air, like coming on the wind? You know what I mean? Isn't that so weird? Like, to think, like, he literally could smell Roy coming, like, from a mile away. We don't know Roy's hygiene. I mean, we don't, but either way, he could smell, like, he knows everyone's perfumes and, like, colognes and stuff like that. Like, you know, like, that's pretty interesting. But yeah,
well, he's romantic.
Yeah, he is a romantic, and that is
he knows everyone's scent. The hair mist.
That's the most sensual sense, isn't it?
Wrong.
What is it?
Sight.
Jesus Christ! It's feeling. It feels. It's literally touch.
I couldn't think of the senses.
You're like, the most sensual is the sense of time.
I couldn't think of what they were, and I wanted to say the worst one, but then I couldn't remember what each of them were. I ended up being like in the middle, and it didn't work out like I wanted to.
That's the one that popped up in your brain. I read I'm not to get off on a tangent, but I read a book that was like, well, you have way more than six senses, like, or five senses. you have
What
way
the fuck?
you have way more than five senses. Like somebody landed on five because it was a nice round number, but you have like so many other senses like that are beyond just whatever say sight and smell and taste, whatever. Which is interesting, but that's another podcast.
Yeah, you can call it pretentious sad boy.
Pretentious sad boy. Did we come up with sad boys from this movie?
No, no, we didn't. That's been in existence for a long, long time, and I love to say it.
It is so good. So
It
good.
is good.
Is there anything in this movie that doesn't work?
So my note says, so we'll get into what doesn't work. My note says nothing. This movie is perfect. But but then I sat and I thought about it, and that's not true. So
you
let
cut the mics. Cut the mics.
I was gonna say let me do my thing here, and you can get mad at me for like 10 minutes.
All right, let's hear it.
One note I had is that I don't love the dance scene in the montage.
Oh no! The best scene in the movie? You
The
hate
thing that you
it?
said was your favorite. I was like, he's gonna think I'm doing this on purpose. Because you just said last time we recorded, you were like, anything I say, you just don't like it. I swear to God, it was in my notes before I knew you were gonna say that.
You lie to God's face on a daily basis. Don't give me that. I swear to God. Swear to
I
me.
am the Antichrist. No, I don't love that scene. I get like what they were going for and like the set piece part of why you would shoot a scene like that, right? Like it's the doing the twist in Pulp Fiction scene
Yeah.
for this movie, but I just feel like it was too intentional, and because of that, it comes across like a Ryan Reynolds production.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I could see that. I just thought it was really sweet and fun.
Yeah, I get it. Give yourself to the movie. It's a really charming part of the movie, right?
Oh, but not
But I
fourth
thought
wall Matt
this.
over here. Matt's got to keep one foot in reality. God forbid he immerse himself in some joy.
I thought this on like my fourth rewatch. To be fair,
That was like, hey, why am I feeling things?
I guess I might as well just get this out of the way. I felt very similarly about the line "Find your Irvine."
God damn it.
It felt like
You have
they
that
were.
though. You have that thing where it's too earnest. You don't like when things are too much, too earnest, too on the nose. You need it to be a little bit making fun of itself for you to like it, I think.
That's not true because there are very earnest movies, and even further than that, whole genres that I like that are that, right? Musically, same thing. Like
Boo.
the more earnest, the better, right?
Save
So
it for
there
the
is
music podcast, buddy.
that. So I'm willing. Don't make me plug my music podcast on this episode. I'm I'm willing to give myself over to that stuff. It's just this felt like they workshopped 6 focus groups and decided they need a line that they could like have people reference 10 years from now, you know? So
I
that
guess so.
when we were in a conversation about what job you feel like you'd fit the best in, I'd be like, you just got to find your Irvine. And we both know what I was talking about because this is a piece of pop culture. Like it felt like they were aiming at that. And I don't appreciate them thinking that
They can
we're that
control
stupid.
you.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You're pushing back against them predicting that that's going to be a great line.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like that they thought that about themselves.
I do think that maybe if it wasn't J.K. Simmons' line, it would be a more relatable. But I do think that maybe because, for one thing, okay, you're gonna have like the only actor like on set who's that caliber of actor who's gonna deliver like this monologue. it does feel very calculated, and it does make it feel a little disingenuous in comparison with the rest of the movie, which feels very natural and very comfortable. Actually, most of their conversation does have that kind of taking itself too seriously, maybe a little bit. So I could see why you would say these things. Again, if you would just appreciate the movie and live in their world, then Roy is the guy that would say some hokey shit like that.
Well, you know what, man? We have a segment called "What Doesn't Work." Forgive me for finding things that don't work in this
We're gonna
movie.
rename it to "What Matt Didn't Like."
So while I'm here and while we're talking about J.K. Simmons, who, just for the record, I really like a lot.
But
Okay, but his performance is a little bit cringy Gen X guy,
yeah,
and I don't like that. So I think that contributes to how I feel about the Find Your Irvine line, right? Because he also spends a lot of time calling Niles shitbird.
shitbird. Yeah, he loves that.
And I feel
name.
like that is a really annoying thing that like a way of speaking that older guys use that I really just don't like in regular life. Those guys say stuff like play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah.
And like just
They live in
like
platitudes.
annoying tough guy platitudes that you're just like, shut the fuck up forever, please.
Yeah.
And I feel like J.K. Simmons doing that role felt too natural to me that made me actually dislike the performance of J.K. Simmons.
I think you're meant to not like that character.
I don't think that's true.
You think they wanted Roy to be likable?
Yeah, definitely. He's a victim of circumstance. He had a great night and was trapped in this place forever and then exacted his revenge until he realized his family was the real prize the whole time. Like, there's nothing about that guy you're not supposed to not like.
I think
But it made me mad that that guy is using this fucking tough guy vernacular for no reason. I didn't like that at all.
I think that he's first being a villain. He's introduced as like a villain, and you're not meant to like him until you get to know him, because he doesn't really
But that's a campy one.
Well, yes, yeah, but that's kind of what it's doing, right? Is it's kind of it's playing with that character, the like the 80s the guy who's really good at snowboarding in the fucking 80s comedy rom-com, like he's the foil to the hero, but he is doing it is like a mismatch a little bit, I think, for someone like J.K. Simmons, who, like, I don't know, I also wouldn't really think of him as like, I wouldn't think of anybody who uses the word shitbird as like a tough guy, right? Like, I do think of it as like a dorky fucking loser weird thing to say.
But that's what makes me mad.
I know. But I don't think they meant him to be likable until they want you to like him, which is until Sarah puts him in the hospital and he learns his lesson. I think that they wanted him to be off-putting up until that point.
I think at minimum he's a sympathetic character the entire time.
I wouldn't say the entire time. I don't think it's a reasonable response to like torture someone repeatedly, especially because he was there too. He knows that Niles didn't fuck him over on purpose. They were both blitzed out of their mind. Like, he wouldn't have led him there if he was thinking clearly. Like, yeah, he blames him. Yeah, it sucks that he's stuck in this situation. He's an adult.
Yada yada that. He's stuck forever.
He's an adult. He made a choice. He told them a weird, nonsensical explanation of what was in the cave, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm in." Like, what he was coked out of his fucking head.
Niles has a responsibility as the sole knower of the cave.
He said
an over-the-top explanation of that cave. He told him his ancestors were in there.
He passed out. He passed out seconds after saying that. Seconds.
So that's another. I'm gonna get off the J.K. Simmons thing because you're never gonna agree with me. You like him too much. But the other thing is, like, does Niles suck? Is he actually likable in this movie?
No, he fucking sucks, dude.
You
can't.
It's bad.
You can't be a decent person, I think, on that time scale, because Niles is short for nihilist, right? Like, that's why they named him that, because
Uh-huh.
When you're exposed to that much repetition, that scale of time, all semblance of like who you were is eventually going to fall away, and you are going to
Mhm.
become some version of like a nothing matters guy. He, I think, is the ideal person that you would want to, I guess, in that situation, because he does at least have a basic layer of like empathy, and like doesn't want to fuck with people's lives, and like doesn't want to hurt
Now,
people. Yes, eventually, right? But I do think that he is also just kind of, he probably was a pretty shitty person going into the cave. You know, like look who his fucking girlfriend is, right? Like
yeah.
he's, I don't know. Misty to me is like easily, there's a lot of really annoying fucking people in this movie, but she is easily one of the like top two or three. Randy, super fucking annoying. I hate him so much. I don't feel safe with him here. I mean, I don't feel safe. Like, that fucking guy pisses me off so much. Every time he opens his mouth, I want to hit him in the throat. He pisses me off. And anyway, Niles can't have been that great a guy to begin with, in my opinion, just based on the little bit that we know about him. Also, he never
Yeah.
talked about his dog at all. Like he never, like I'd
Yeah,
probably be
that's
going
true.
back. I'd be going back to get
I
my
have that.
dog at least every
I
other
have that.
week.
I have that note too. You can't say you have a dog in the last scene of the movie.
No, man,
I
it's
get that
complete.
it. I get that it was there to illustrate, like, they still got some relationship shit to work
Yeah,
out,
to
even though they
clean
were
up.
trapped in the same day for forever. They don't know what each other's like when they're like behind on bills, or
Right.
or when they're sleepy, or
Yeah.
any of that. So
But
another thing I have is
don't do it with the dog, bro.
I'm not sure this relationship works out anyway. But yeah, don't don't do it with, like, you have a dog. Like, I would nonstop talk about how I was sad that on that. Like, I would talk about my dog the way that J.K. Simmons talks about, like, wearing a condom and having his daughters. Like, I would nonstop be talking about how I just, like, I'll never see my dog grow up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I'd go
I'm
get my
missing my
dog
dog's
all the
birthday.
time.
Yeah.
Clearly they can drive home. You know, like, yeah,
He don't live as far as Austin. Yeah.
yeah, go home, get your dog, dude. Like, spend the day sometimes. Damn.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
didn't know he had a dog. He never even said it.
Yeah, that was gonna be like my
Tough,
my other thing.
tough, 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 tough.
My other, like, exhibit A of, like, why he's so.
Yeah.
But
Same
but
page, same
also,
page.
he brought two separate people into this time loop.
Yeah, accidentally both times. I said don't follow me.
Kind of. Yeah. The scene right before he does that, he said, "Don't you kiss me," and she said, "Don't you tell me what to do." And then immediately after, he's like, "Don't come in this cave." There's some responsibility that you bear, knowing the person that you're talking to. He wasn't drunk.
No, yeah. He kind of does. I think to some extent you do get I gave him the benefit of the doubt that he thought she ran away, because they do show him getting sucked into the cave as he's saying don't come in here. So
Yeah, but you don't have to. There was no rush. Like, you're not. There's no time sensitivity to
I
when
think
you
he was
crawled in
in
the cave.
a lot of pain, and he was just thinking get into the cave to reset this, and wasn't thinking that she was following him. Isn't what the
Bro,
way.
you're about to have somebody go into an infinite time loop. You deal.
I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is what I'm envisioning, right? The only way that this is okay, in my opinion, right, is you're hurting, you're in intense pain, you've just been shot twice with a bow and arrow that are literally sticking out of you like a pincushion. You're like, fuck, I gotta reset because this fucking hurts. I'm gonna stop. And he assumes she runs away because he's literally getting attacked by like a violent killer, and he's starting to crawl in, and as he's getting sucked in, she calls out to him, and he's the only thing he could think of to say is don't come in here. But he's already, because you see him, he's getting dragged into the thing, like the thing pulls you in once you're close enough. I think he never thought for a moment that she was going to follow him until he heard her call his name, and then he was like, wait, no, 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 don't come in here. And then it was too late, and then her curiosity had her at that point. If you're her, do you go in or do you listen to him?
A glowing cave?
Yeah.
I'm not going in the glowing cave. What are you talking about?
I'd be fucked,
The
dude.
guy that I was with just got just got shot by a bunch of arrows, and the guy who shot him with those arrows went into the glowing cave, and now he's yelling at me not to come in there. No, there's no fucking way you go in the cave. It's
Must
dumb.
be
But
must be
also,
awesome in there.
but also, you wanna hear like me as Niles going into the cave,
Yeah,
going
let's
into
hear it.
being sucked into the thing.
You hear Sarah's voice.
Yeah, don't come in here. You'll be trapped forever and die. And then I get sucked into the cave.
He probably was in the
Just say,
process of saying
just say
that.
more. Just say more things. Like make it more stern. Like
he
I don't.
probably was
This is
literally
very
he probably was literally saying exactly that and got sucked in after "Don't come in here."
no. This is way more solvable than he made it. And now I'm not sure you don't suck.
this is
You're
this.
defending him. You're defending him too hard.
I just don't want us to go down in history as the only two dipshits that didn't like Niles as a character.
I'm gonna go down as a dipshit in like a lot of stuff, dude. I'm not worried about that. That ship,
Dipshit is on the tombstone.
that ship has sailed. I don't like lots of things. Got a whole segment about it. All right, last thing I want to talk about: Joan Squibb as Nana.
Oh yeah.
So
What do you think?
she makes a couple of appearances in the movie, and every time she does, she's saying something cryptic.
Yeah, and like very relevant to the situation.
Right. Like she first meets, like goes up to them while they're drinking, and she's like, "I've been to more weddings than I can count.
Right.
That was the best speech." Blah blah blah. Blah. Right. And then at the end, she knows Sarah's leaving forever.
Well, she knows she's leaving the wedding, maybe, is the way they play it, right?
No,
Like, yeah, the wedding's over.
she doesn't talk to her any other time.
It's her grandma. How often do you talk to your grandma when you're at the wedding? You're dancing, you're having a good time. You're not talking to your grandma.
I've talked to my grandma every wedding I've ever been to.
Well, mine died, so good for you.
That was our grandma's dead. The segment that concludes that segment. Dan wins.
I I thought I had a thought. I mean, yeah, they definitely play it that way, right? Because also her face, Sarah's face, when she gets the line like, "So you'll probably be leaving soon. Good luck," right?
She clearly has never talked to her. Yeah.
Yeah, I get the sense that it's only like she's never talked to her because you're literally only ever seeing that day. Who knows how much they were talking leading up to that day, repeating infinitely. Like you're just not seeing her in these scenes. Maybe right there's what I'm saying is there's justifiable doubt as to like did she mean you're leaving the loop or did she mean you're leaving the wedding because like you're leaving the venue like what did she mean, right? There's some room for interpretation there. Do we think that maybe she just wandered into that fucking cave and she's just like so fucking old when it happened that she's just like fuck it, I'm just gonna fucking be here forever
With my family.
yeah.
Okay, so I don't think it is at all realistic that she went to the cave
Zero.
because, and it leads me to this conclusion that you're not gonna like because it's based on not a lot they
My favorite take is the loosely fucking logical one.
so they show Sarah trying to get to the cave desperately,
Uh-huh.
and she's like doubled over, and she's panting, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's like it clearly a little bit of a trek. It's out of the way, like it's not at the wedding venue, right?
Yeah, it's long enough that he can like drive back several
Yeah.
trips basically to get there.
Yeah. Nana's old,
Uh-huh.
and what reason would she have to be out there? I don't think she went in there. So if she didn't go into the cave, is she responsible for the cave? Is she the overseer of this loop? Is Nana God? Is the question that I have.
Oh my god.
Oh my Nana.
Matt watched Palm Springs and turned it into a fucking Bible verse. Here we go.
I don't think the Bible mentions being Joan Squibb, but I do think that she very clearly has been in there before Andy Samberg's character was in there, before Niles was in there.
Maybe. I mean,
And I think she knows when people have come in and out of the cave. if we think she knows that Sarah's leaving.
Sarah's
You know what I
leaving.
mean? Like it.
Yeah.
So if we were to say, okay, there's enough clues for us to say that she does know that Sarah's leaving, right?
Uh
She's not snooping around corners listening to their conversation. She's not going to the diner, following her and watching her study quantum physics.
huh.
She knows that information, right? So if she knows that, she knows when there's a new person in the, you know, she that like if we agree that she knows that, then it's reasonable to think that she's been there for a long time and has knowledge of it, who's in and out.
If we agreed about that, then sure.
So I'm glad we agree that she's
uh, I had a really obnoxious U.S. history teacher when I was in like 8th grade, who was talking about fallacies, and he was trying to like help us to understand like what a fallacy was in a discussion and how to avoid them. And one of the things he talked about was a common fallacy is the statement, "Can God make a rock so heavy that even He can't lift it?" Which is
Mhm.
a logical fallacy because you're making a cyclical statement that refers like self-referential statement, right? And so then, of course, there were some douchebags, Christians, that were like, God can literally do anything, and he's like, well, that's why the idea of God is rooted in fallacy, because obviously there are some things that can't be done, right? And
Mhm.
so which pissed off a lot of the young people in our class, right? But one of the things he talked about was, if God could do anything, he could stop time, which obviously, if he could stop time, that means that time would also stop for him. And so nothing would ever begin again. Time would just be stopped, period. That would mean even God couldn't start it again because time is stopped. So how is God experiencing anything unless, like time is stopped? Because that's what time is the experience of moments. But anyway, I know this moment feels like it's going on forever, but the the way he reconciled it was he said that God and time were one, and they were aspects of the same idea. When people say things like love or life or reality or God or time, they're talking about one word that explains an aspect of something much larger than that. So I think from your
Mhm.
perspective, your baloney bullshit about Nana being God, maybe she is the time loop, which would make her God and would make you
You did all
technically
that to agree
correct.
with me?
Would make you technically correct, which is the best kind of correct. I had to convince myself to agree with you because I hated it,
So
but it is true that if she understands that she's seeing these things happening, then she is those things happening, right? Because otherwise she couldn't
this
be
was
there.
this was your middle school history teacher?
Yeah, he was my U.S. history teacher in 8th grade.
That guy definitely went home and smoked so much weed.
Probably.
And then watched The Simpsons, who have a line where he got this from, by the way, and passed it off as his own idea. They have the line, "Can God cook a burrito so hot that he himself couldn't eat it?"
He didn't create the
Which
line,
is
"Did God make a rock
which
so heavy he can't lift it?"
passed it off as his own studies, right?
He
His
didn't say he
scholarship.
made up any of
So,
this.
which is the burrito line, which is a much more succinct way of saying what you're saying, right? The Simpsons being a piece of fictional content, as is Palm Springs, that doesn't abide by the rules of time and space, obviously. So it's fine that Joan Squibb is God and controls the time loop.
they
I know you
based
already
it
said I was right,
they based it in
but
reality. They
it's the
based it
same.
in real physics.
Kind of.
No, they just did. Look,
So she's controlling the time loop, right? We agree
what
that
were
she's controlling the time loop.
yeah, is she also the dinosaurs?
Oh, the dinosaurs with mushrooms.
No, you don't have shared hallucinations on mushrooms.
You don't have shared hallucinations on mushrooms.
No one has shared hallucinations on mushrooms.
I think that just lends to the fact that this is obviously
Yeah,
like the
fiction.
time loop has some other side effects, like this place
Sci-fi
is
things
the
happening.
actual place.
Yeah, they're seeing windows into the past or some shit.
Yes. We just caught some shit a rift somewhere because you agreed with me about a theory that I had about a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to agree with you, but as I was kind of connecting the dots for myself, I did convince myself that you're probably, if not right, you're probably in the realm of right. I'm gonna
You
call
can just say right.
I'm gonna email the director and ask him if she's God, and that way I can, wiggle my way out of it. Well, all right. Happy hour is over. The rest of the week is going to be full price, but don't worry. Happy hour will be back again next week, and we will see you then.